Most people have never heard of the young officer who pulled off one of the most daring missions of World War II. But without him, history might have turned out very differently. Picture this. It's the 6th of June, year 1944. You're 26 years old, parachuting into Nazi-occupied France in the middle of the night. Bullets shred the air around you, and every second feels like your last. Yet somehow, you stay calm, focused, and determined to lead your men through hell itself. What drives someone to take that kind of risk? What makes an ordinary soldier step into the chaos and emerge as a legend? In this video, we delve into the untold story of a leader whose quiet courage inspired his men to achieve the seemingly impossible. You'll learn the secrets behind his unshakable confidence, the battles that tested his spirit, and the lessons we can all use to lead with purpose. Stay with us until the end, because this story will change how you think about leadership forever. And if you're passionate about discovering real-life heroes who shaped our world, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. This is the story of Major Richard Winters. Before Richard Winters ever set foot on a battlefield, he was just a kid from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Born in 1918, he grew up during the Great Depression, a time when every penny mattered and hard work wasn't optional. Those early years instilled in him a sense of discipline and humility that would guide him for the rest of his life. As a teenager, Winters wasn't the loudest voice in the room. He wasn't the biggest or the toughest, but he had a quiet confidence that drew people to him. He believed that respect wasn't something you demanded, it was something you earned through integrity and example. After graduating from Franklin and Marshall College, Winters faced a choice that would define his destiny. In 1941, as the world was already at war, he enlisted in the Army. He wasn't driven by glory or ambition. He simply felt it was his duty to stand up for something bigger than himself. That sense of purpose led him to Officer Candidate School, where he trained tirelessly to become a leader. He was assigned to the 506th Parachute Infantry Regiment, a brand new airborne unit that would soon become famous as the Band of Brothers. From the start, Winters stood out not because he craved power, but because he never asked his men to do anything he wasn't willing to do himself. He led training exercises with the same determination he expected from his soldiers. Whether it was a brutal run-up to Currahee Mountain or the endless drills that turned civilians into elite paratroopers, Winters approached every challenge with steady resolve. His men noticed, even before they ever set foot in Europe. They trusted him. They saw a leader who wouldn't crack under pressure, someone who believed in the mission, but valued their lives above his own ambitions. Winters' dedication extended beyond tactics. He studied military history, learned how to inspire discipline without fear, and quietly built a reputation as the officer everyone hoped to serve under when the bullets started flying. That foundation of humility, discipline, and quiet strength became the bedrock of Winters' leadership. As war crept closer and Easy Company prepared for their first combat jump, no one could have guessed just how crucial those qualities would be when history came calling. In the early hours of the 6th of June in 1944, Richard Winters climbed into a C-47 transport plane with the men of Easy Company. As the engines roared to life, he knew that everything they had trained for was about to be tested in the most dangerous mission of their lives. Their objective was clear: parachute into occupied France under the cover of darkness and help pave the way for the Allied invasion. But nothing went as planned. As the planes crossed the French coastline, anti-aircraft fire erupted from below. The sky lit up with deadly flak, and paratroopers were scattered miles off course. Winters landed alone, deep in enemy territory, with none of his equipment and no idea where the rest of his unit had come down. In that moment, most soldiers would have panicked, but Winters did exactly what he was trained to do. He stayed calm, gathered whoever he could find, and began organizing them into an effective fighting force. By dawn, he had located several men from Easy Company. When he learned that a German artillery battery at Brécourt Manor was pounding Utah Beach and threatening the entire invasion, Winters didn't hesitate. With just 12 soldiers, he led a daring assault on the gun emplacements, using tactics that are still studied at West Point today. Against overwhelming odds, his team destroyed the battery and saved countless American lives. That day, Winters proved not only his courage, but his gift for clear, decisive leadership under fire. His men knew, beyond any doubt, that he was someone they could trust when everything was on the line. But day was only the beginning. In September year 1944, Easy Company was dropped into the Netherlands as part of Operation Market Garden, a risky plan to secure key bridges and end the war before Christmas. Winters and his men fought through canals, dikes, and flooded fields, facing fierce German counterattacks at every turn. During those brutal weeks, Winter's leadership became the glue that held Easy Company together. Even when supplies ran low and exhaustion set in, he found ways to keep morale alive. He led by example, moving through the line to check on every soldier, listening to their fears, and reminding them what they were fighting for. He also developed a reputation for quick, innovative tactics that saved lives. When his men were pinned down by enemy fire, Winters often found unexpected ways to flank the opposition or break through seemingly impossible defenses. He believed that preparation, not luck, decided who survived. Each battle deepened the bond between Winters and his men. They weren't just following orders anymore. They were fighting for each other, inspired by the quiet confidence of a commander who never lost sight of their humanity. In Normandy and Holland, Winters earned more than medals. He earned the unbreakable trust of a company that would follow him anywhere, and together, they would face even greater trials still to come. As winter closed in, Easy Company faced its most grueling challenge yet, the Battle of the Bulge. In December year 1944, German forces launched a massive surprise offensive through the Ardennes forest, catching Allied troops off guard. Easy Company was rushed to the front lines near the Belgian town of Bastogne, where temperatures plunged below freezing and supplies ran dangerously low. With little winter clothing, almost no ammunition, and no heavy artillery support, the men dug shallow foxholes in the frozen earth. For days, they endured constant shelling and sniper fire. The cold was so intense that rifles jammed, and frostbite claimed toes and fingers. But through it all, Winters held his company together with the same calm determination he'd shown since Normandy. Even under relentless bombardment, he moved among the men, checking their positions, offering quiet encouragement, and reinforcing the belief that they would hold the line no matter what. His confidence was contagious. In Bastogne, morale was a weapon, and Winters knew how to wield it. His presence reminded every soldier that no matter how desperate things became, they were not alone. When the siege finally lifted, Easy Company advanced deeper into Germany. The end of the war was in sight, but the fighting remained deadly and unpredictable. During this time, Winters was promoted to major recognition of his extraordinary leadership and the respect he had earned from both his men and his superiors. In the spring of year 1945, Easy Company reached Berchtesgaden, where Hitler's mountain retreat, the Eagle's Nest, stood as a symbol of Nazi power. For Winters and his men, it was a surreal moment. The final victory over an enemy they had been fighting for nearly a year. They had come farther than any of them ever imagined, and together they had survived. But even as the war ended, Winters' thoughts were never far from the soldiers he'd led. He later wrote that in combat, you discover who you are, and you learn to measure your life not by your own success, but by the strength of those who stand beside you. After the surrender, he finally allowed himself to step back and reflect. The sacrifices, the losses, the brotherhood they had all shaped him into the leader he became. And though he was ready to return to civilian life, a part of him would always remain with Easy Company on those battlefields where they made history together. When Richard Winters finally came home, he didn't look for parades or recognition. He quietly returned to civilian life, built a career, and started a family. For years, he rarely spoke about the war. To him, leadership wasn't about medals or fame. It was about the men who stood beside him and the memories they all carried. But as time passed, people began to realize that Winters' story had something to teach everyone, whether they wore a uniform or not. His example showed that real leadership isn't about barking orders or chasing titles. It's about earning trust through action, staying humble when others look to you for answers, and never forgetting the people you serve. Winters often said he wasn't a hero. He believed the heroes were the men who never made it home. Yet those who knew Heim specially, the soldiers of Easy Company, saw things differently. They knew his calm under fire, his steady hand, and his unwavering integrity saved countless lives and inspired them to be braver than they thought possible. Decades later, when historian Stephen Ambrose wrote Band of Brothers and HBO adapted it into a series, millions finally learned what Winters had done. His leadership became a symbol of quiet strength and selfless service. Letters poured in from around the world from young officers, business leaders, and everyday people thanking him for proving that you don't have to be loud to be great. So what can we learn from Major Richard Winters today? We learn that the best leaders never stop caring, they never stop listening, and they never ask more of others than they're willing to give themselves. We learn that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's doing what needs to be done, even when you're terrified. If there's one legacy Winters left behind, it's the belief that ordinary people can rise to extraordinary challenges, and that in the toughest moments, character matters more than rank. His life reminds us that integrity can outlast any battlefield and that true greatness is built on humility and purpose. If you found this story inspiring and you want to hear more about the real heroes who shaped history, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the like button. Because stories like Richard Winter's deserve to be remembered and shared with the world.